From Central Indiana's #1 news source, this is Fox 59 Tonight.
Welcome back to Fox 59 Tonight. I'm Cameron Riddle. Thanks for downloading our Fox 59 Smart TV app on your Roku Fire TV and on your Apple TV. And if you're on YouTube, thank you for hitting that subscribe button so you never miss any of the conversations that we are having at 8 o'clock every night right here on Fox 59 Tonight. Now, I do a lot of things, but one thing that I don't know how to do is play golf. And it's probably one of those things it is one of the things that I wish I knew how to do now as an adult, because in the business world, everybody likes to go golfing to finish their deals and make their plans. That's where all the business happens. And so I never go because it would just be embarrassing. There are people who could end up like me, but Golf Indiana is an organization that is trying to make sure that doesn't happen, trying to get thousands of kids across the state a chance to learn how to play golf, get into it as a fun sport, but also just another something to do. To talk more about what Golf Indiana does, in our studio right now is Mike David. He's the executive director of the organization. Mike, thanks for coming.
Cameron, thanks for having me. And I know a bunch of PGA professionals who I'm sure could hook you up with a set of clubs and some lessons and get you out on the golf course.
Okay.
If you want to make that happen, just let me know.
Okay. You know the people.
I know who to contact you.
Okay. With. Good. This is an organization that I hadn't heard of. Our friend Melissa Crash is on your board, and it's funny that Melissa one is on your board because Melissa knows nothing about sports.
She's learning. She said she's learning golf. I think her husband might be pushing her to do that, but I don't know. But she wants to learn, she said. When
we would always do the morning show, anytime we do a sports story, she'd essentially just be like, "Yay, sports!" But it's good, and she spoke obviously very highly of what you guys are doing. You guys are one coming up. There's an invitational coming up at the end of July.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. What's the goal there?
Yeah, so you mentioned Indiana Golf. So we basically run 5 golf-related not-for-profits. Mm-hmm. One of those is the Indiana Golf Foundation, which is our charitable side. And the big thing we do under the Indiana Golf Foundation is First Tee Indiana. Mm-hmm. First Tee is a national youth development organization, been around for about 27 years. Mm-hmm. We have had tremendous success with our First Tee programs here in Indiana. We have programming in 19 communities around the state. We're at 80 different golf courses. We're in 345 elementary and middle schools offering First Tee programming. So the event we have July 31st at Broadmoor Country Club it's one of our big annual fundraisers. Mm-hmm. It's the Indiana Golf Foundation Invitational. It's a fun event. We're still looking for teams to play, and we're hoping that day turns into a $75,000 or $80,000 revenue source for us. So it's, like I said, it's a big deal for us on an annual basis.
Golf is not one of the sports that even every school has. A lot of schools don't have a football team or a basketball team, let alone have a golf team. Now, there are many schools that do, and it's a big deal. But golf is one of those, it's an international sport.
Yeah, huge sport. As you said, everywhere you go, worldwide, it's a huge sport. And, you'd be surprised at the interest that golf has here in Indiana. I mentioned, what's happening with First Tee, but if you look at golf from an economic impact standpoint, we did our last economic impact study in 2022. Golf provides over $2 billion in direct financial impact to the state of Indiana on an annual basis. It employs over 23,000 people statewide, which that accounts for over $600 million in wages and earnings. So it's a huge business out there, and more and more people are playing it. COVID really pushed a lot of people to golf, Cameron, and the sport's just kind of benefiting from that still today.
What is the if people are like, I've never been into golf, what is it that you say, well, that's because you don't know about this. You haven't got to experience this. What is that?
So for me, it's outside, being in nature while you're playing the sport. You have an opportunity to connect with the people you're playing with, unlike trying to knock the guy down across from you if you're playing football, or beat a guy off the dribble if you're playing basketball. So golf just lends itself. I think you mentioned earlier about how it can help you in business too. I think there are just various aspects to the game that are really unlike virtually any other sport, really.
That is one of my friends. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a best friend who's an entrepreneur, and he always talks about the golf course, and that's one of the places he invites people to go talk business, because, as you said, it's not like the other sport where you're trying to knock the other person out. You're in close proximity, and it's easy to have a conversation while you're doing this.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think that's why First Tee has been so successful, because First Tee blends golf with the life skills that go along with it. And it really teaches character building, honesty, perseverance, sportsmanship. Even before we had First Tee under our Indiana Golf Foundation umbrella, we used to ask the question, what other sport are you taught to call penalties on yourself? And there's not very many. I mean, golf is it's a different game, and does really lend itself well to the life skills that we can teach kids, how you can carry that over and really make it a lifetime sport. I mean, my dad played until he was 90 years old. So there aren't a lot of sports you can continue to play throughout your entire life.
So let's talk about the different programs. You said there's 5 different organizations under the title of Golf Indiana. What are those?
So the 5 organizations are the Indiana Golf Association. So the Indiana Golf Association is one of 57 allied associations recognized by the United States Golf Association. So that's really kind of the amateur side to golf in Indiana. Then there's the Indiana section of the PGA, which is 41. I'm going to call one of 41 branch offices of the PGA of America, not to be confused with the PGA Tour, the guys you're seeing, playing on the weekends. The PGA of America is made up of 30,000 golf professionals nationwide, and those are the men and women who are giving lessons, they're running the golf shop, they're doing other jobs within the golf industry. I mentioned our Indiana Golf Foundation, which is our charitable side. First Tee is the big program we have under the foundation. And then within the last couple of years, we've also taken on the Indiana Golf Course Superintendents Association and the Indiana High School Golf Coaches Association. So kind of our vision is to be the vital hub for golf in Indiana. And we really want to be one-stop shopping for golf in the state of Indiana. And I think we're well on our way to doing that.
I'm showing First Tee Indiana's website next to you right now. And so this is your entry level to get
exactly. It really is. It's for kids from the age 7, and it really carries them through 18. I kind of liken it to the scouting program. You come in at the base level, and if you're a scout, you want to be an Eagle Scout, right? That's your goal. Well, with First Tee, you come in at the base level, and you want to achieve ace status. That's the highest level you can achieve. But there are all kinds of different opportunities along the way, national opportunities, local opportunities for the kids involved with First Tee. And as I said, it's not just a golf program. It's really teaching those life skills along with it. So you may show up for a clinic, and the start of the clinic, the coach is going to talk about honesty and kind of give a definition of honesty. Then you're going to have a normal golf lesson, I'm going to say. And then at the end, that First Tee coach is going to tie honesty back into the game, into how you act at school and how you act in everyday life. So it's really, again, tying in those life skills with the game as you go through the First Tee program.
The program, 80 different golf courses across the state, 363 schools, 29 youth centers participating. So that's 130,000 plus kids. That's a lot of kids.
It's a lot of kids. It's grown rapidly. We've been involved with First Tee, Cameron, for 12 years now, and the growth has been fantastic. And the program really sells itself. I mean, if we're talking to a school principal or a school superintendent and we say, hey, we have this youth development program, by the way, we'll find the funding for it, and you'll get the equipment, you'll get the curriculum, and your PE teachers will get training. Very few, actually none, have ever said no to that. That's a pretty easy yes for a school corporation to jump onto.
Well, it's been the budget and the belt's getting tighter on these schools.
It really is. It really is. But we're finding ways to fund it. And if we go to donors and say, hey, look, basically it's a one-time fee for a school to sign up for First Tee. It's $3,200. And that includes everything I mentioned earlier. And if we go to a potential donor and say, hey, for $3,200, you're going to reach all 400 or 500 kids in this elementary school. And this is an ongoing program. It's not, nothing's an easy sell, but it's a pretty easy sell.
Well, I'm sure it perks the ears of those principals when they say, "Oh, you'll help find the funding."
Exactly.
Okay, I have the kids. What else you need?
Without a doubt.
Yes.
And not only the school administrators are interested, but the parents are interested too, because it's not just a golf program. It's really teaching those skills that the kids can carry with them forever.
Well, as you said, you can go to people and help find that funding. But I'm sure you never run out of volunteers or people who want to help, right?
You know what? We could always use more volunteers, to be honest with you. And in a lot of cases, we're kind of limited with the number of kids we can reach because we don't have enough volunteers in some spots. And it's not a huge commitment from a volunteer standpoint. I mean, the training is pretty minimal to be part of a First Tee program. First Tee prides itself on a 1-to-6 coach to student ratio. So again, growth can be hampered a little bit by not having enough volunteers. So we are always looking for more First Tee coaches, without a doubt. And whether that's a league coach or an assistant coach, if people have time and they love even if they're not an avid golfer, it's a pretty simple curriculum to follow. And you don't have to be an avid golfer to really be involved. What we really just look for are great mentors for these kids, because we want really good role models teaching the kids and sharing their expertise with them.
Well, I've got right as you're speaking next to you is the First Tee page with become a changer, become a coach. What one are you looking for in a coach, and what are they teaching? What if someone's like, okay, I want my students, my school to participate in this? What does the day look like?
Yeah, so for a First Tee coach, let's talk about that first. So our clinics are generally an hour and a half in length, and so you're helping a league coach who's gone through more training than an assistant coach has gone through generally, and you're really just another set of hands. You're helping the kids. You're making sure they stay safe. You're reinforcing whatever that life skill is that's being talked about that day, and you're doing some basic swing stuff with the kids. But again, these kids are not tour players, so you don't have to be a tour player or be really good at the game to help them out. You can follow the kind of the lead from the league coach and figure out how to help those kids. From a school standpoint, it's a great program because I mentioned earlier the PE teachers deliver it. They're getting the curriculum and they're getting the equipment. And then they can follow that curriculum. They can implement it once a month, twice a month, once every other month. They've got it at their disposal to really do what they want with it. Obviously, we are encouraging them to use it as much as possible because it's not just teaching golf, it's teaching those other life skills that that we're all trying to get across to kids these days.
So how often does this happen?
So for our First Tee clinics, a clinic is basically 8 weeks in length, and we have them year round. I mean, it really just depends. So here in Indianapolis, for instance, we have access to Riverside Golf Academy, so we can run programs in the winter. In a lot of parts of the state, they're more summer oriented, obviously, because we don't have maybe the indoor opportunities. But spring, summer, winter, fall, we're running them year round. And the 8-week clinics generally meet once or twice a week for those 8 weeks. And then depending on the skill level, that depends on what time the kids are coming. So you may have, the beginning skill level from 9 to 10, and then more advanced from 10 to 11, so forth, during the course of a day.
What does it look like during the school year but maybe for somebody who doesn't get the services through their school, maybe they've connected with local youth center. What is that?
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier, Cameron, that we're in, I think, 29 youth centers right now, and looking to expand that number because one of the youth centers we work with is here in Indianapolis, Edna Martin.
Yeah,
and I think they have 400 or 500 kids coming through there on a daily basis. So we are now offering golf to them. Their program directors have learned or have the equipment and the curriculum so they can implement it at Edna Martin. And so there's other opportunities outside of school for kids to have access to the game. But I will tell you, here in Indy, we're in 44 IPS schools. So we're in the majority of the elementary schools, and certainly trying to grow that program as well.
Excuse me. Those typically would take place after school then.
Yeah, for like if you're at a community center, yes, it's going to be after school or in the summers as well. Also we work with Boys and Girls Clubs, Parks Department, Girls Inc., depending on the area of the state, and those are the same things. If it's in the summer, then they're during the day, but a lot of after school programming at those locations as well.
What has the response been from kids who've been in this program and then their parents?
Response from kids and parents both is 100% positive. I mean, the parents, again, as I mentioned earlier, they're happy that their child's learning a new sport or learning to play a sport better than they were before. But having that life skill component in it, I think really obviously sets First Tee apart from other junior golf programs because we are really teaching more of the character building. And the participants love it because in a lot of cases, they're getting introduced to a game that maybe they haven't had any experience with, and they're finding out that, hey, this is fun. I'm outside. This is a good time. I'm competing really only against myself in a lot of cases in the golf course, which is unique to a lot of sports. But our retention rate's over 80%. So I think that shows that, the kids are enjoying the experience and they're making it a point to come back.
You know what I like about this program, Mike, is in all the neighborhoods and all the places that you are across the state, whether it's in the inner city of Indianapolis or in the suburbs, the golf course is one of the things that is really in no one's neighborhood. Like most neighborhoods, there's a basketball court at the end, or there's a field where you can play soccer. If you do have a golf course even near your neighborhood, it's fenced off. It's not something you just walk into and, we're going to go play golf today. So you don't even have that access to get to golf. And I'm a big believer in you don't know that you can do something until you see it and then see yourself doing it. And so it would make sense. I can't think of there aren't any golf courses. Just, hey, we put a golf course in the neighborhood.
Yeah, but we're trying to make sure that people know that golf is accessible, obviously. And I go back to that economic impact study we did. Indiana is in the 80th percentile for having public golf courses, one, and for two, having affordable public golf compared to the rest of the country. So the perception out there is, it takes 6 hours to play and it's only for the elite. It's really not the case. And there's a lot of public golf opportunities in Indianapolis for not a lot of money, especially if you look at a twilight rate. But then if you're talking about kids, I think it's important, Cameron, to note that getting a new participant interested in the game isn't enough. There has to be a pipeline where they can go through, they can learn to play, and then they have access. So we're heavily involved with a program called Youth on Course. It's a national program, and basically all of our First Tee participants receive a membership to Youth on Course. What that does, and I think we have 50 courses in the state that are Youth on Course courses. What that does is allows kids to play for $5, and then those golf courses can turn in a voucher basically to get a stipend back from Youth on Course to raise that rate to $12 to $15.
Mm-hmm.
So the kids are getting a huge discount to play for $5, and the course is not really losing that much money on it. But I'll tell you, even before we did Youth on Course, what we found here in Indiana is our golf professionals at courses around the state are extremely supportive of junior golf. And I know that there are a lot of golf courses that were doing the Youth on Course thing and giving golf away long before Youth on Course came along. Just really looking at that development side of the player development, the opportunity to make sure there's another generation of golfers coming along. So again, I get the perception of the eliteness to it and the difficult to have access. Simply not the case. It's really not. And I think having 80 courses offering first tee programming around the state really kind of illustrates that too.
But if no one is inviting them, how would you know?
Right. And that's what we're doing through the schools and through First Tee is we're making sure the kids know that, hey, if you're showing an interest in the game, the PE teachers have scholarship opportunities so they can provide those vouchers to those kids and say, look, you can take this to the next level. You can get out on the golf course. You can learn how to play. And then we'll find an opportunity for you to continue to play if you really enjoy the game. So like I said, it's not just putting a club in a junior golfer's hand. It's really making sure they can go completely, through the process of learning how to play and having access to play. And I think we do a pretty good job of that.
How long have you been doing this?
Well, believe it or not, I've been doing it for 35 years. Okay. So it doesn't seem like that, but 35 years ago, I started where I am today with Indiana Golf. So it's been a lot of fun.
So I take it you've seen kids come in at First Tee and are doing it through college and
absolutely
longer.
Yeah, and even before we were part of First Tee, I mean, I've got former junior golfers that were playing when I first started that now have their kids playing in our junior golf program. So that's when you've been around a long time, is when you see that happen. But yeah, definitely seen a lot of kids go through our program, continue to play, and then now they've got their own kids that are playing.
So Mike, how do we get people involved? Where do they start?
I think our website, Cameron, I think indianagolf.org website has a lot of information on how they can volunteer, what they can do. Definitely go to our First Tee site once you're on our website, because as I mentioned earlier, we're always looking for more volunteers to help out and to help deliver the programming, whether it's Indianapolis or anywhere else in the state.
I'm on the First Tee website now, and so dates that are going on for summer happening right now. I see over at the Back Nine Golf Course in Carmel. That one hasn't actually started yet. July 21st through the 30th. Some of these have started in June. Let's see, that's through June. There and then the others through July. So there you go.
And we'll have more added to that schedule as we get through the summer and go into the fall, because we will definitely have fall programming, especially at Riverside Academy because we've got the indoor opportunity there. So lots of opportunities to volunteer still this year, and then of course as we go into 2026 as well.
Okay. Mike, and the same if folks want to, whether they want to put their kid in the program or if they want to volunteer,
go to that website.
Go to the website.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I do see it at the top. I see it. I saw it on First Tee. I want to be able to show it. At least I thought I did. Okay, there I go. Partners there at the top, and then get involved. So
yeah, perfect.
Coach, and then so if you want to coach and you want to volunteer, you want to go here. And if you want to get your child registered into the program, then you want to click right here. Mike, thanks so much for coming on and explaining this to us, letting us know about these options, because again, like I said, I'm a big believer in you don't know about something until somebody shows you.
Yeah.
And you may live across the golf course and never go across there, because it usually takes somebody to invite you over. So this is you guys doing literally that.
We are inviting everyone over. That's exactly what we're trying to do. Cameron, thanks a lot. I appreciate you having me on.
No problem. That is going to do it for this edition of Fox 59 Tonight. Hang on, guess what?
News source.
Cameron hit the wrong button there.
Tonight.
That's me. Well, guess what, you guys? I hit the wrong button. That was my fault. I'm trying to wrap up the show, and I restarted the show. But that's okay. That is going to do it for this, though, edition of Fox 59 Tonight. We'll be back same time, same app, same YouTube page every night at 8 o'clock right here to talk about what is happening in and around Indianapolis. And then, of course, you can still hang out with us on Sunday mornings on the radio on 106.7 WTLC from my show, Open Lines, where we'll talk about everything that's happening from the White House to your house. Hope everybody has a great night. I'm Cameron Riddle. Good night.